what do you know? It's all smiles around these parts. All smiles. Let's welcome Willard and Dibs. Willard and Dibs going to be talking about it. You need any go fuel? Anybody? You guys see?
Maybe.
You had a long night, Dibs.
Yeah.
Press box.
No doubt.
Changing diapers.
Yeah.
You know, long day.
Got home right to it, too. It was, baby's not going down. Here you go. So I had about a 45-minute. We put the passy in, and we talked a little bit about the game.
Nice.
She's giving me the heavy blink, and it's like you can't put her down until you get into that deep sleep.
Yeah.
You put her down too early, then it's and then you go back to square one. So he's taking it one shake at a time.
You ever play some Sade or something? Play a little music?
Yeah, Sade is actually the go-to.
Yeah,
absolutely. You put on a little Sade. No one can stay awake.
Sade, my bad.
Yeah,
Sade.
That was different.
Yeah, I was
Sade.
like, what?
You
picked up on it. I was like, huh?
Sade.
Well, it's kind of like
it's a 1-2 punch.
Baldy calling him Boza, and I look forward to Baldy's appearance tomorrow. And you want to call him Boza? You call him Boza.
Yeah, but that's kind of Baldy's thing. Because remember when he called me Dibs 7 times,
and me Mark,
and you Mark, yeah, Baldy.
A little bit of a flip mode squad last week, but
I'm convinced Baldy could lift me up with one hand and Dibs up with the other.
Oh,
and
there's
he
no
is
doubt.
one of the largest human beings. He came to my house. We had a barbecue in my backyard, and this guy sits down in
Totally.
It was for Elevate Your Tailgate.
Oh my gosh!
Paid
It
appearance.
felt like the fourth quarter of the Bears game again. I'm
a
drowning.
lot of drops.
B's a big guy. This dude took up the entire couch.
Yeah,
he's so big.
He's
and
huge.
then was eating food right off my grill, which is technically normally a no-no.
Right.
But for Baldy, I was
Not
like,
for him.
get that jaded, destroyed pinky,
Man.
put it on that steak. Go at it, big
Pro
guy.
athletes are different. They're just like, yep,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Just
People mad at me about the Sade misspeak there. Dan B, that's not even snitching music, man. How you get that one wrong? My bad, man.
okay, man. It's okay, man.
How do you fight through
Hey,
it?
we all miss blocks every now and again.
Yeah,
there you
exactly,
go. There you
exactly.
go.
Or we just leave
Diners.
Aaron Donald unblocked.
Yeah.
I mean, well, that was a fun play.
That was the one play.
I know. They did good.
Shocking.
They did
They
good.
played great.
Offensive line
they
did
played great.
fine.
No,
Yeah, they did fine.
Offensive line, not a problem.
Yeah.
Well, I think he had
Clinton
one
talking
tackle.
back.
And by the way, McKivitz was really good, and then he went out, and
And
I'm
Mick
like,
Moore was okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was fine.
fine.
It was
Yeah,
fine.
exactly, fine.
I know
Yes.
they're flanking everybody. There's like 8 tight ends running around everywhere, but
Yes.
fine. Look, do whatever the hell you
It
got to do.
worked.
Yeah,
It
Win a
worked.
game. Win a game. Where you guys want to start? Defense, head coach, quarterback? What do you
I
guys
want to
do?
start
Guru
with
for
you,
getting his wallet.
Bonte.
You wanna start with me?
I want to start with you.
Why do you wanna start- what
Because
I do now?
No, I just wanted to make sure you're okay.
Oh, I'm great.
I know, because you keep saying how happy you are, but
yeah.
you don't sound happy.
I-
You sound mad.
No,
because you let
here you
everybody.
go.
No, because
Here
you
you
let.
go.
No, this is on you.
The
Because you.
cupcake behavior where everybody say, oh my
No, no,
God,
no.
Bonte, you're bad.
No, but Bonte,
No, nobody's mad.
Yeah, but you're letting them get to you.
No, they're not getting to me.
But you are letting them get to you because you spent 3 hours talking about them.
See,
Don't
Dibs would
let them get
understand.
to you.
Dibs would understand this.
Don't you let
walking
them
up
see
and
you
down the
sweat,
streets
man.
of Oakland. We went to Washington High School. I like the interaction. If you want to come at me, I have no problem coming back at you. It's all love.
No, nobody said that.
We're doing this talking sports, but don't come down and say,
Okay,
"Oh, Bonte,
fine.
you're
All
mad
right.
about the win." Number one, nobody's mad. Number two, your boy cashed out. Dibs, we talked about this yesterday.
Cashed me out three
me
times.
Defensive touchdown.
Outside?
Guaranteed to win.
Yes.
Guaranteed to win.
Yeah.
And hit the over on the sack total. So your boy's happy. They're 2-2. They're going on the road here. And all I want this team to do is be 4-4 by the bye week.
Here's the
Maybe you
larger-
can get greedy and be 5-3.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes.
Here's the
Then
larger.
you're cooking.
Oh, I think they absolutely can get to 5-3. You would
my
hope.
problem-
I mean, they should win the next 2 weeks, and I know we can't say should in the NFL.
I wouldn't say mad either, Mark, not to cut you off. I would say maybe a little annoyed because I celebrate the victory. I put the video up last night walking out of Levi saying, baby, it's going to be a victory Tuesday. And people are like, Jimmy Garoppolo, he led him to the win. What are you going to say about that? It's like, come on, man. Let's not be crazy.
Let me
Jimmy was fine,
let me put
but
the
he
bait-
didn't lead
hold
this
on.
team to a win.
Let me
and
put
that's
the-
all I'm saying. And I'm being negative.
Let me
I'm
put
being
the
mad.
let me put the bait
Come on,
caster
man.
in the
Put
water.
pom-poms down.
Bait caster in the water. I'm gonna reel this thing back in. Let's take you out of it for a second. Here's the larger conversation. The larger conversation is, I think it's normal for sports fans when you lose to start assessing who do we want to blame. However, I think it's a little silly when the team wins if we get too caught up with who gets the credit.
Right.
And that's what I feel like a lot of people are doing after last night. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to understand we are in the midst of what may be an epic, memorable defense.
Yep.
Like, hold on. Dive into the analytics. And I heard a couple of your callers rocking out with the Rams stink. Get out of here. I don't want to hear
still the Super Bowl champs.
I do not want to hear this is what they did to the 49ers in 2019 when they were 6-0 and 7-0, and everyone's like, well, they haven't played anybody. This is the NFL. It's reminding you every week you're all out of your survivor pools for a reason. It's really hard to do this stuff. And Geno Smith's running up and down the field on everybody else.
Right.
So
Except for the Niners.
This defense is phenomenal, and it's obviously the straw that stirs the drink. Right alongside that, though, the offense was solid. Like, Jimmy was solid. Was it great? Who was expecting great? He's Jimmy, right? So he was fine. They did exactly, if you're a 49er fan, that was a script. That was a script, and it got followed. And you should be, peacocking all day today. Because the 49ers are a factor in the NFC.
Happy?
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm happy.
Gotta be happy.
I look at this team and I say to myself, like, right now they got back to the running the ball really well, which is very important. And it feels like the way that they've used Debo in the creative ways, it's clearly maximizing Debo. Like, we can have arguments. I don't want him taking hits between the tackles. Okay, but like, it's working. Like, whatever they're doing is clearly working with Debo Samuel. Would we like to see George get more touches? Yeah, sure, fine. And there'll be a time he'll get more touches. Right. But you win that game that way, going away, it feels really good.
And
I'm looking at their defense. Yeah. Yes, exactly. I'm looking at their defense and I'm saying, this guy Bosa, I mean, 23, 24, 25 sacks. Like, honest to God, what's if you would have told me,
Joe,
Joe,
6 through 4, right?
He could have had 7 last night.
Yeah, exactly.
And Stafford was really good at evading the rush. I felt like there was a couple where he stepped up and Bosa would have crushed him.
You were mentioning it earlier, and you're so right, though. It's more than just Bosa. It's Ebukam on the other side,
good.
and it's pressure up the middle.
Drake Jackson.
You don't have Kinlaw, you don't have Armstead, but you don't really miss either one of them, and that's where it's the entirety of the defensive line. And Bosa actually said it yesterday in the post game. They're elite, and I love the voice, by the way. They're elite at all 3 levels. You go back to Mooney Ward and Hufanga in the back, and the linebackers we know are great. So it's more than just Nick Bosa is causing problems up front.
And Hufanga, we were talking about this. Like, we all love defensive ends, right? You go, oh, this guy, Lawrence Taylor, Reggie White, they're pretty good. Like, it pops on. Yeah. A safety running around, there's something special. Like when you see Ed Reed, Paul Amalu, Ronnie Lott going back in the day. Brian Dawkins, like, pick whoever your favorite safety is. Obviously, most of us, Ronnie Lott. Like, you're seeing Hufanga and you're like, dude, this guy's a missile. I mean, he's an absolute missile.
There's also something about just the way safeties play on television because you don't see him at the start of the play.
That's a good point.
And so you don't see, like, I can watch Nick Bosa when the ball snapped, and I'm like, I'm going to follow you. Like, are you going to get there, Nick? When a safety makes a play, it feels like it just got fired out of the left side of your television.
Like a cannon.
Which is what happened. You didn't see that coming with Hufanga last night. Like, I mean, that was an unbelievable read.
Yeah.
I suggest everybody, if you can find video, go back and watch what he did, especially with his comments about smelling a rat.
Yeah.
He's like, I smelled a rat with the way the receivers were kind of going, and he comes off of Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
I mean, the guts that it takes to just be like, I'm leaving Cooper Kupp.
Well, and Fred Warner did that to the Rams a couple years ago, and it reminded me of the same thing.
Such a great play.
It's such a great play. He also made a play, and he didn't even get the tackle on this one. They threw a screen to Higbee that was like floated over the top. He came from the opposite sideline all the way down. He didn't get the tackle, but he slowed Higbee up so somebody else did. And I'm like, this dude just ran 80 yards.
Yep.
Like 80 yards from one end of the field to the other, and he's flying all day. He's just awesome. I love him.
And it's fun to watch. And, like you said, when you have Bosa, all eyes on Bosa, and Mark, you mentioned it, you don't see the safety when you're watching it on TV, and all of a sudden he comes out of nowhere. I was at the game up in the press level, and you could see that throw, and you could see Hufanga knife in, and, the juggle, the bobble, and then it's just over.
And you talk about a great defense. You want to be great? Well, these are games you take advantage of, right? The Rams' offensive line is in shambles. This defensive line wants to be great. Take advantage of that. They took advantage of it. Next 2 weeks, Atlanta, they don't have Cordero Patterson. Their offensive line is a little leaky. Carolina, their offensive line is a little leaky. This defense could start to add to that and start to pick up more sacks and create more turnovers. And I think, like you said, Mark, that is the formula. This defense has to be as good as some of the greatest defenses of all time. They're not there yet, but when you turn it over and you turn those into points, that helps an offense like this out. That an offense that lacks a playmaker, they need about one more playmaker on this team. Let's be honest.
I think they've got all the playmakers. They just struggle to get the ball to them because that's not the way their offense works. Like even, I'm listening to you guys this morning and I get the emotion, which is that you have a double-digit win and you still feel like, gosh, I wish Ayuk could have 3 more catches.
Well,
I wish George Kittle could, and I get it.
It's great, but when you see it, it's like, there's plays out there to be made.
Of course.
Quarterback has to make the plays.
Of course, he's not that guy.
And unfortunately,
he's not that guy.
And I think that's the playmaker you ultimately need,
right.
And you drafted Trey Lance to be that playmaker, and now that's not working out that way.
And we're a long way away. But at some point, the quarterback has to make those plays. That's what separates you from being chumps to champs.
Right.
You've got to make those plays. Even Trent Dilfer made plays. Brad Johnson, we talk about Brad Johnson, Tampa Bay. He made plays when he didn't make them in money time. So that's where I could be a little critical of Jimmy, saying he played well, but we're watching the game. There's a couple times where guys are just winning wide open and Jimmy doesn't see it.
Yeah, there's all. Now, I thought Troy Aikman made a great comment on the broadcast, and I know all 3 of you were there, so maybe you didn't get a chance to hear this. And I thought it was very interesting for anyone, especially if you are critical of Jimmy Garoppolo, which is often fair. I don't think it is last night. He was fine. But he made an interesting point that I think is really important for everybody to know. So we live in an age of social media and video up the wazoo. So we get the all 22, and we get this replay and this angle over here. And what we do is we look at a field, and we'll see somebody running open. Use check up the seam. We see Ayuk out in the flat, open on the play that Kittle was out the back of the end zone. We get to see that, and we go, oh, my gosh, Jimmy missed another one. If you did this in every football game, you will find a few of those all the time. And Troy made the statement. He goes, I want you to understand when you're the quarterback, you don't see, like you're a human being, Aaron Donald is attempting to destroy your life, is in your face. You're not going to see the whole field. So any football game, we are going to be able to grab 2 or 3. He was running free, and the quarterback's eyes were on the other side of the field. That's not an excuse for Jimmy. Does he miss more than others? Yes, he does. But I thought Troy's statement was a really good one for people, especially if you were at the game. Like, you're going to not see those develop every single time, and you can do that to every quarterback every game.
At the 800 level, and so your vision is all 22. I mean,
That's
I'm
what
seeing
mine
it,
is in the
and that's why sometimes it gets frustrating when you're watching it from where I am. To Mark's point, the quarterback, you're looking through, 5 offensive linemen.
And
you've got a
layered
multitude
throws.
of guys, crisscrossing and running at you. And, it's not to excuse it. Mark's right. I thought Kyle Shanahan did a great job of scheming up the offense to put Jimmy in a position to succeed. The use check play, the wheel route down the right-hand side. Yeah. Great play call. He was wide open.
Yep.
In general, I thought Jimmy was good, but that's the Jimmy. It's frustrating because we all want 31 for 48.
I don't even want that, Dibs. I just want you to make the right reads. Like,
I
look
think
at Charlie Warner, right? I like Charlie Warner, right? Charlie Warner's your 3rd string tight end. Ayuk's running a drag route 20 yards down the field. I'm thinking to myself, I got to get my playmakers involved. They're the ones that gives this team juice. It gets them involved in the game.
And they run that play over and over and over. And
it just makes the defense think about something else. Instead, you're throwing to Charlie Warner and expecting him to make a great play. Like, that's my biggest beef.
Good throw. That's a huge play. He might have gone.
But Ayuk is wide open.
I understand. I understand.
Mark, but that's a play they run as a staple week to week, and it's always there.
I understand.
Always throw to Ayuk.
I get it.
The other one is this is where it gets frustrating. On the goal line, it's a 3rd down. It's a crucial 3rd down. They jump into shotgun. Everyone's like, oh, God, shotgun, run the ball here, right? And he's got Ayuk right in front of him on the face mask side. He just comes off the read almost immediately, and he throws a really nice ball to Kittle. Kittle can't get his feet down, and you're saying, can you just hit the layup to Ayuk?
You can, but it's not a layup, and I know, and you guys, I saw you mention this, like, yes, that play was there, and did, Bonte, you noticed this, did Ayuk, like, when they thought Kittle was inbounds and it was a touchdown, the whole team ran to Kittle, not Ayuk.
Right.
Ayuk went straight to the bench. He was frustrated, and as a receiver playing with Jimmy Garoppolo, totally understand
There's 4 guys angry on every play.
Right, exactly. Which is why the whole lip sync thing.
Right up the line of scrimmage.
Right, but
that's a play Jerry Rice made a living on at the goal line.
It is.
Freddie Solomon.
It is. But you're dealing with Jalen Ramsey. You're dealing with maybe one of the best corners in the game. And if you're looking at this, we're at the 2-yard line. like that's the play that if you don't execute it perfectly on time, that can be a pick six.
It's a pick six, exactly.
Like if you don't,
But on that play,
if you
Jalen
don't,
fell.
but you don't know where. No, he didn't fall.
He stumbled.
He
He
stumbled
stumbled a little bit.
But he was on his
He was-
feet.
that's all you need on that play.
But my point is, again, you're looking at Jimmy's eyes. If Jimmy doesn't see it right at the right time, you got to hold it.
But that's always
because that
been the
can
Jimmy
flip the game.
problem.
And the
I
throw
know.
to George Kittle's
You
a much
guys are-
safer throw.
You
in
guys
that
aren't
if
wrong.
he doesn't catch it,
It's
it's an
going into the
incomplete.
back
It's
of the
going.
end
It's
zone.
going.
Yes.
to
You're,
first.
you're
Which I
not
agree
you're
with.
not wrong, but I'm forever going to point to this dynamic of 49er football. We all want more dynamic play at the quarterback position, like we want the offense to be bigger.
I
Yet
don't-
so many of you think Jimmy's
no.
weak. So it's
No,
like I
no.
don't want him taking chances.
Listen.
I don't want Jimmy taking chances. That's how we get in trouble.
I don't
That's
even
how we
care.
get in trouble.
I don't even care what his numbers are.
Oh,
They
who
won
cares
the
what
game
his numbers
yesterday.
are? Exactly.
They won the game yesterday. But don't tell me that, hey, Jimmy led this team to a win. Jimmy was great.
Who's
Jimmy was great.
saying that?
That's all I'm saying. There's a lot of fans out there
Really?
saying give Jimmy his flowers
No,
over
they're-
that game.
no,
the
they're-
defense gets game balls
Of
for this
course,
game. The
of course.
defense has carried his team
But
to
Jimmy
a
was
2-2
Sam-
record.
but
And
Jimmy
Debo
was solid.
Samuel.
Yeah.
And Debo made that play happen, not
Well,
Jimmy.
threw it the only place he could throw
Right.
that, and
That's
that's
correct.
what Peyton Manning on the Manning cast. I went back and watched it this morning. He actually said it in real time. He's like, Jimmy threw that high on
Right.
purpose, and then Jimmy after the game said the
Right.
same thing, which I didn't. In the moment, I'm like, oh boy, he got bailed out. But then when you hear Peyton Manning explain it that way, it's like, okay, I
Right.
can see that. Jimmy G's thinking the only place I can throw it is that high, although it's a scary throw because if Debo just gets one hand on it and that thing
Look,
gets tipped in the air, now we got problems.
No turnovers yesterday.
No.
I'm happy with that from any quarterback. Thank God Jimmy's here because Trey's out. Now you still got a shot to win the whole damn thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you have a great defense and a good running game. And you got playmakers in Debo. When you get him out in space and not run him up the A-gap all the damn time, get him in space against DBs, he's going to make people miss and he's going to make big plays happen. Now we wait for Kittle. Now we wait for Ayuk. There's good things happening in
Yeah.
San Francisco.
I give
That's
Jimmy,
all.
if I was to grade just Jimmy, I would give him a B+ for yesterday.
That's
Borderline
fine.
A minus.
I'll give him a
But
B.
you're
Oh, wait.
asking Jimmy to do
Supporting
just
yesterday.
that. That's what you're looking for Jimmy to
Sorry.
do.
Yeah.
You want grades? We got grades. We got PFF grades.
Oh, boy.
Already?
Want to know who the highest graded offensive player was for the 49ers yesterday?
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Come on, man.
Yep.
Come on,
Debo
man.
was second. It's just funny. It's funny because it says two things at the same time. First of
on,
all, it's like,
man.
how are you going to tell me
What
Jimmy
are
was
we
more
doing?
important than Debo? You can't.
man.
But I will say that what it does tell you is that Jimmy played a solid football game.
He was fine.
It wasn't great.
was
So
fine.
here's the rub. Here's the
He
rub.
was
I wonder
fine,
what you guys
PFF.
think.
Bonte
just saying, he
was
was
getting.
good.
I know. No, I knew that
Over
would.
there.
PFF.
I knew that
That
would
was
get you.
incredible.
I knew that
Another
would get
reason
you.
not to read PFF. Tells it right there.
Here's the rub, and I wonder what you guys think about this. For me, last night was not just a win. Like there's the whole.
It was a momentum shifter.
Well, more than that. Like okay, they got to 2-2. Yep, they're now everything's fine. They're in first place. All
2-0 in the division.
That's
2-0
all.
division's huge.
That's
Yeah.
all huge. But here was what last night told me. When Jimmy ran onto the field 2 weeks ago, our emotion was, well, the excitement around Trey is now gone, but, well, we didn't want to go back to what we know, but we do. Now we go back to what we know the last 5 years. Then he comes out at Denver and all of a sudden brings in this, oh gosh, do Jimmy and Kyle not like each other? Is this not going to be the last 5 years? Last night signaled to you, the 49er fan, that yes, this is the exact same team that we've seen the last 5 years. And in fact, if it's different, it's that it's the same team the last 5 years with an even better defense.
Right.
So that tells me that they absolutely have the opportunity that if Jimmy plays the
Right.
remaining 13 games, they should, at worst, end up in the final 8. Like, absolutely no question in my mind. That's where this should go,
Of the
provided
NFL.
that they have.
Yes,
Yes.
that means you win
Yes.
a playoff game. You
Right.
get in the divisional
Yes.
round.
Okay.
And
I think
and
you
you-
can set the bar even higher, quite
Yeah,
frankly.
take your chances after
With this
that.
You got a defense because there's a lot
Yes.
of bad offensive lines out
I
there.
gotta see also the injuries because like right now they got
Of course,
Trent
of
out.
course.
Of
That
course.
could derail
My,
everything.
my point is it just settles you with like, okay, like last week we're like, wait a minute, what in God's name is this?
Right.
It settles back into, yes, this is the 49ers you know, and yes, they should be one of 2, 3, 4 teams that have a chance to win the NFC.
If you look at the last couple of seasons, what they did in terms of when they went far, you get Mostert at the end of the year, boom, pop. You get
Right.
pop plays. Elijah Mitchell led the NFL in 20-plus yard runs
Right.
last year. I just worry that you're not going to have this sustainable pop in the run game that you are going to have to lean on come November, December.
Yeah.
I like Jeff Wilson Jr. I just hope, can Elijah come back? Can one of these other guys show?
Get some
Because
juice.
Jeff impressed me last night with his ability to pop.
Who's
Couple
a
of
great
those
player.
And he's
Jeff-
had moments.
Yeah.
Remember
Yeah,
the game?
Jeff's had huge
Dude, remember
games.
the New
Yeah.
England
He's had
game?
huge games
The New England
before.
game
Been
in
the guy for
Foxborough, he
8
had 3
games.
rushing
I
touchdowns.
just think it's the system. It's the system. He's always had.
Agreed, but-
he's always
but
had
you
guys
have to
that
be a
can
little
have.
worried.
Yeah, listen, he's
My
not
fear is
dynamic.
that it is the system, but if Jeff starts to wear down,
Exactly.
can Elijah come back?
Listen,
Because
exactly.
right now you got Tevin and you got Return of the Mac, and you don't have a ton else.
Right, but you also don't have Trent Williams. Like, that's going to change your run
Right.
game big time. Like, second
Agreed.
half of the year,
Agreed.
like,
Right.
who
And here's
knows what
another
that's going
thing
to look like.
you were talking about, Mark, the formula. What I don't want is I don't want to have this split in the fan base. It's driving me crazy. That's driving. Team Trey, Team Jimmy. No, it's Team Niners.
Yeah.
You want the Niners to win. And we're starving for a Super Bowl out here in this market. Starving.
Quest for 6.
Quest for 6 has been going
I
on for
hate
how
that.
long?
I hate that.
Hate it,
Well, no,
right?
because
So-
the Warriors didn't go, we're on our quest for 2 when Lakewood
Right.
bought it. Like, no, you're on your quest for 1.
And now it's one
that's
for the
how
thumb for the Warriors. Yeah.
Every organization has to look at it in their run, like
Right.
quest for 6. Let's just get back to a Super Bowl.
Right.
I just,
And-
yeah,
and so
I'm with you,
it's like,
Bonte.
you know
I
what?
can't find
It's like if you're
anything to
if you're
bum me
just
out out of last
critical of
night.
the quarterback,
Nothing.
you get roasted. Well, you know what? Today was a day about the defense. The defense should be celebrated. The quarterback didn't turn the ball over. Great. I love that. No turnovers. You're probably going to have a better chance to win the football game.
Kyle mentioned, our producer, if that is the Jimmy G performance for the next 13 games, you can probably win 10 or 11 of those games.
Agreed.
Right.
I think Kansas City may be able to
Well, you're gonna
outgun
have to
you
score more, yeah.
Right.
against some teams.
Agreed.
But that sort of performance from Jimmy G,
Yes.
that'll be good
Well-
enough to win the next 2. If you
Yep.
don't turn it over
Totally.
and you possess it,
That's it.
and you
Yep.
do what you did last night,
Little bit of breaking
Totally,
news that
Gibbs.
absolutely affects the 49ers, and also it'll just be interesting with the quarterback story we've been through.
Who's hurt?
Jerry Jones just broke the news that Dak Prescott is not quite ready to play this week. The grip is still not good enough, so you're going to get another Cooper Rush game, which comes against the Los Angeles Rams.
Let's go.
So that is this week. Cowboys and Rams will be Cooper Rush. 49er fan, who do you want to root for in that game? I got no freaking idea.
Cowboys.
Whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I guess. But it's also interesting because my mind was on that quarterback controversy budding, if you will. Like Cooper
Coming to
Rush.
a head.
Well, Cooper Rush beat 3 sort of weak teams, and
but he
now,
looked good.
Now they go at Rams, at Eagles, and if you had brought Dak back, and Dak struggles
yeah.
against better teams, that fans the flames.
yeah.
So I
No
think the
doubt.
Cowboys wanted Cooper to go have a tough road trip against a good team, and then let's talk.
Well, I think McCarthy needed that too.
Yeah.
If anyone
So that's
needed
at,
that,
that's at
McCarthy needed
SoFi.
that.
That's at SoFi
Wow,
this
that's
Sunday.
interesting.
Well, it'd be a Cowboys home game.
Oh, God.
It's going to
Oh,
be
God,
nothing but
yeah.
Cowboy fans.
Oh,
And
yeah.
keep it real though, like I said this in a tweet last night, there are some OG SA LA Ram fans that I saw last night, and they are because I remember them from back in the stick, way back in the day.
Yeah.
And they're rocking the old Dickerson jerseys and the Youngblood jersey, for
I
example.
like the old. I mean,
They're the best
I like the old
jerseys.
Rams with the
They're
blue and the
so
gold.
good.
Yeah.
They're pretty clean.
I saw Deacon Jones, like a white one with the little Ram things, and I was like, "That's pretty badass." Like, how can I
Yeah.
hate on that? But I know we ripped the Rams fans. The OG Ram fans are good Ram fans.
Yeah,
and
there's
I was
just not
sitting
enough
by
of
them.
them.
There's
Yeah,
just
there's
not enough
of them.
Mark, I was
Yeah,
telling
it's
these
about 5 of
guys,
them.
I did a.
It's pretty cool,
I did a
though.
pregame lot walk, just walk in
Yeah.
the lot. Had the backpack on,
408 Empire?
Had my Zennies on, and I'm just
wow,
cruising through the lot.
Who
Flexing.
knows me?
I tell you what, not a person. The 49ers, the tailgate scene, it is
Oh,
alive
gosh.
and kicking. Shout out Simple Minds.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was fun. You got all kinds of music, all kinds of meats on the grill. The tailgate is real out there.
When you can clear it out, first of all, no other NFL games.
Yeah.
Plus, you do it in the evening, give you a
True.
little bit more time to get sauced
Well,
up.
Silicon Valley's work from home on Monday.
Exactly. Get mad at your boss by 2
Because
o'clock.
that's the fan base, right?
by
Silicon
3.
Valley.
100%.
Get out of here.
100%.
Well,
Say
and the
that.
way
King
that,
City, Salinas in the building. Dude, totally.
the way that's all set up too. where
Fresno,
everybody-
don't count them out. They drive up from the no.
Oh, hell
Is that
yeah.
what they call it, Fresno? The no?
Yeah, and they call Lamore the Moo, according to
No, no,
some.
no.
And the
Saw
Vis,
him yesterday too,
Clovis.
which is great.
Hell, Dibs.
Yeah, had some great moments with the big fella.
Okay, let me ask you guys this one because it's funny. We did this thing with Stafford like immediately. He wins a couple, and they're big games. going to the Hall of Fame. I mean, this is not us, but I'm saying like the national narrative. I'm watching Stafford yesterday, and he's a good player. I never deemed him to be a great player. Like when I watched Kurt Warner, I knew this dude's special. Like every time he had the ball in his hands, I'm like, God, he's gonna kill us. I'm watching Stafford, and I'm texting this guy. I'm like, he's gonna throw one up. It's coming. It's a matter of time.
Well,
and then I feel like we're getting same old Stafford. And I'm just interested what the narrative's going to be on him
It's so
moving
good
forward.
that San Francesco's not here today. It's so good.
Well,
Yeah,
watching
you
him-
tried to shake him with that
He's
yesterday.
a good
I was
player.
loving that.
He's a good player.
Stafford's
He's
going to
not
throw
a
him
great
up all the
player.
time. He threw him up in the
He's a
NFC
good player.
Championship
No, he
game.
leads
We do
the
that.
world in interceptions
Right.
the
Stafford
last
is
season
not
plus.
a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
He's
No,
not a Hall of
but
Famer.
we did
I
this
don't think.
one
But
day.
he's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he probably will be. I mean, when
I'm
you
with you. I agree.
I mean,
It's
it's a
just-
joke if he goes to the Hall of Fame. He's never once been the best quarterback. He's never once been among the best 5 quarterbacks in the
but
league.
it does, but you,
He had
I'm
one
not,
good year.
What about
I'm not
Eli
here to
Manning?
argue whether
Let me
he
ask you
should or
this about
shouldn't
Eli.
be. Yeah,
Eli Manning to me is not a Hall of Famer,
Phillip
but
Rivers.
he's going to
I agree.
be
You know
there
what, though?
because of
Let
the
me
2
defend Eli.
championships.
I saw an Eli championship performance in the NFC Championship game.
Okay, he had a great game.
He was unbelievable.
He
But
was.
that to me,
He was.
He was
You get in the Hall of
outstanding.
Fame off one game. How many times he lead the league in picks?
Yeah,
Eli
to
Manning.
me, he's not a Hall of Famer, but he had 2 of the singular best Super Bowl
Right.
performances.
He won in Lambeau.
Look, the
I
bottom
mean-
line is the Hall of Fame is going to, I'm not going to argue for or against any of these guys, but they're all going to be in
Yeah.
because you're looking at
The numbers,
passing numbers.
yes.
Matt Stafford is the 12th passing yardage quarterback
Sure.
of all time.
Sure.
And he has a Super Bowl.
And he's the greatest.
You're getting a
passer
gold
in
jacket.
It's the
history.
league.
You're getting
It's
a
the
gold
way the
jacket.
league has evolved. Though.
Yeah.
We look at these numbers. It's inflation, right? These are inflated
He's
numbers.
He's a
He-
career
he-
aggregator.
How many
is what
times?
he
Yeah,
is.
how many of
Eli
those
Manning-
yards did he throw when the Lions were down 20 points?
Like
You know what I'm saying?
Eli Manning is number 9 all time. Phillip Rivers is number 6 all time. This will make you throw up in your mouth. Matt Ryan's probably going to end up in the Hall of Fame because he's number 8 all time and he went to a Super Bowl and it's not his fault that he didn't win one. It's his defenses. So like they're all going to get in and it's all based on it's become so much of a
But
passing
do
league.
forget the Hall of Fame then. Do you guys fear him when he has the ball in his
No.
hands?
Well,
I
not
don't.
the 49ers. I mean, he's a very good thrower of the ball. Let's not
No, he
take
is.
away
He's
like
talented.
He's fine. He's
talented.
Yeah, but A to
No,
B.
he's talented. I'm with you.
Matt Stafford versus the Lions organization was a poor man's Brady versus Belichick. Like, who gets the credit, right? And Brady went and won that argument big time,
Mm-hmm.
and Stafford did too. Like when you are a quarterback that puts up numbers for years and you've never even been to the playoffs,
Well,
and
they
you
went
leave
to the playoffs with
What-
Calvin.
Okay, right,
You know.
and what one game.
I know, but then
You
anyway.
never won a playoff game, and then you
3
switch
playoff
teams.
games, yeah.
You switch teams, and you win a Super
know.
Bowl. I mean, come on.
I know.
That's a lot of data. That's a lot of data. But no, he doesn't scare me if I'm a 49er fan because they got his number.
Yeah, well, and it's
They
just,
got
it
his number.
feels like he just throws them up. I mean,
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp and him clearly have a
Hey, man,
connection.
to
No
your
one else
question-
on that team does. They
Higbee,
miss
Tyler
Odell.
Higbee. That was an easy over
Right?
4.5 nabs.
Oh,
Ding,
nice.
ding,
10
ding.
nabs
Yeah.
yesterday.
A lot of nabs
I see
for
you
Higbee.
working, Dibs.
Yeah, Scowron, I needed another catch or 2. I didn't quite get over 3.5 on
What
that
was
one.
the spread up in the press box?
The food?
Yeah.
Which one? We had tacos, carnitas.
Yep.
Carnitas and chicken. I had both.
And then
Okay.
at
Good thing you're
halftime,
not
did
a
they bring
vegan
out the
anymore.
nachos? The
I'm not
chili
sure,
and the
but
cheese.
I
and
ate
the
so
chicken-
much pregame.
The chicken tenders.
They had and they had like a hot food station with
Yeah.
rice and some other meat,
Dude,
and
it's
then
the best press box dining.
ice cream.
Oh,
it's so good.
Trust me, it
It's
was
so
like
good.
They even bring
it
out
was
pizza
unbelievable.
after the game with beers too for all the writers who were there late.
Yeah, I
Bring out
couldn't
the
quite
beers
stick
the
and stay that long. You know,
stay. I
I
like
did
that.
when I went to the elevator before I left. I looked out at the parking lot and a sea of red, the brake lights, and I thought this might take a minute.
Yeah. So get some pizza and beer and
Yeah,
stay a
might
while.
as well. Might as
Yeah.
well. But I will say this about the faithful. Incredible. And I know it's partly because it was a night game.
Yeah,
And
but
you didn't
Niner
have to worry
fans are
about the sunny side. But the fans were lubricated. It was live. It's feeling more and more like a real home stadium environment, you know?
You could hear it on the TV, by the way.
It was
I will
the
say
loudest-
it.
so I
Yeah,
would-
yeah,
I
yeah.
thought it was
You
the
could
loudest-
feel it when the Rams had the ball that there was
Yeah.
action happening.
Lucas and
Yes.
I have gone to a lot of games together, and he was sitting next to me. It was my wife, my niece, and he turned to me. He goes, "This is the loudest it's been since
Really?
what, 2019." I said, "I think it is."
I don't know about that.
Well, when last year did it really get loud down the stretch?
Last year,
I'm asking
'cause I
you.
didn't get to go to a lot of games last
I
year.
went to all of
because,
them.
Because I had Warriors duties. I'm
Yeah,
trying to think.
yeah.
I can't remember the games Okay. Oh, Texans game? Yeah, it
That's what
wasn't
I'm
that
saying, like,
loud.
it wasn't
You know,
rowdy.
it's
Day
wild
games
though.
aren't that rowdy.
If you go back to last year's
I'm
visual,
trying to think of the teams they played.
yeah, the moments down the stretch.
The
of
Green Bay game was the night game, and they lost.
Right, that's what I mean. The moments that you remember from the second half
was
of
a
the
loud
year
game,
that get you to the playoffs were almost all on the road.
I know.
It's
Yeah.
something we really
It's
actually
true.
don't give them enough credit for.
I know.
They went through the whole playoff run on the road. Last game, week 18, on the road.
The
I
NFC
get it.
Championship
It was
game at home was the first time being there that I felt like this was actually now a home stadium
Yes,
vibe.
yes.
And last night wasn't quite as loud as that, but last night was live.
All right, so last little critique of Levi Stadium, because you know me and the parking and the ingress, egress, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, we gotta go.
was
Save
In
it for
the
tomorrow.
restroom.
Save it for tomorrow.
Put the radio on.
Save it for tomorrow.
The radio on in the restroom.
Look at
for
this
Christ's
coming
sake.
up next. Brought to you
What are you
by nobody.